All right, it's Tuesday, and my plan for today is to get the downstairs clean and get the refrigerator cleaned out so I can start prepping food for Thanksgiving tomorrow. I had just done some grocery shopping the day before, and the fridge was completely full. It was time to refill the plastic egg containers that we keep in the fridge. Our chickens are producing more eggs than we anticipated for winter, so we've had quite a lot that just sit in the basket until there's room in the fridge. I need to put a lot more egg dishes on the menu in December. Unfortunately, there was also a lot of leftovers that needed to be taken out to the chickens or the dogs. Thanksgiving aside, how often do you clean out your fridge? And I don't mean just throwing leftovers in the trash or giving them to your animals. How often do you actually empty the drawers and the shelves and give it a good scrubbing? For a couple of months now, I've been needing to refill this bottle of Texas Pete hot pepper sauce. My husband loves this sauce, and these peppers have been sitting in the fridge just waiting to be recovered in vinegar, and I finally took the opportunity to do that when I was cleaning out the fridge. At this point, cleaning out the fridge was starting to feel like the task that would never end. Now I'm checking the dates on all of our condiments because these door shelves are full, and it's time to clear these things out. My girls love to pull the meat off the bones when I bring rotisserie chickens home. On this day, Zoe was the lucky winner and she pulled the meat off for me, and then we decided to go ahead and put the carcass in an Instant Pot and make some chicken stock for the pantry. I don't think I've ever mentioned before that 3 of my daughters are adopted from the Democratic Republic of Congo. They're biological sisters, and they've been home almost 7 years. Making chicken stock in the Instant Pot is the easiest thing. I dump everything from the pan into the pot, skin, bones, leftover little bits of meat, and I cover it with water all the way to the fill line. I'm always sure to use filtered water from our Berkey, and I add a splash of apple cider vinegar before I start the Instant Pot. I read somewhere one time that the apple cider vinegar helps to draw out the marrow in the bones when you're making stock. Now put the lid on and set it on high pressure for an hour and a half. Hey guys, it is the morning of Thanksgiving Eve. I'm running to Sam's Club real quick to pick up some desserts for a friend, and then it's back home to clean the downstairs and get started on prepping food for tomorrow. Sam's Club had a massive amount of desserts to choose from. They had pumpkin, apple, and pecan pies ranging from $6 to $14. My friend also wanted a cake. They had Italian cream cake, red velvet, chocolate, a tuxedo bar cake, and a lot of different cupcakes. She chose red velvet. Before getting started on the Thanksgiving side dishes, I needed to can up this chicken stock. I strain it into a pot, and then I have my sanitized jars ready to be filled. When I make chicken stock in my 10-quart Instant Pot, it always fills 7 quart jars exactly. If there's ever a quart jar that's not quite to the rim, I go ahead and add just a little bit of filtered water to top it off. While we were at Sam's Club, we picked up a beautiful fall bouquet to set on the island for Thanksgiving Day. Everyone pitched in helping get the house cleaned. Charlie loves working the little vacuum. Can you tell he's going hunting later? I placed my jars in my pressure canner, added water, put the lid on, and set the stovetop to medium-high. Once the pressure button pops up and there's steam coming out of the hole in the top, I put the 10-pound weight on. When it starts jiggling, I set the timer for 25 minutes. Then I got started on the hash brown casserole. Totally forgetting how much this recipe makes, I doubled it. I ended up with 2 heaping pans full of hash brown casserole. I went ahead and wrapped one up tightly and stuck it in the freezer for December. Growing up, I remember the women being in the kitchen all day on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We didn't get to see them at all unless we were in there helping. It has become such a fantastic tradition to do a lot of the food prep the day before Thanksgiving or even a few days before, so that Thanksgiving Day we're just putting things in the oven and we get to spend a little more time with the family. I actually like washing dishes by hand, and it feels so good to just clean in between recipes rather than having a giant mess to clean up at the very end. I tried a new green bean casserole recipe this year. It was from Trim Healthy Mama, and instead of cream of mushroom soup, You use mayonnaise, heavy cream, onion powder, salt, and pepper, and then you top your casserole with baking blend, Parmesan cheese, and some sliced onions. One of the varieties of jalapenos that I grew this year were gigantic, and I saved one at the very end of the season so that I could save the seeds for next year. All right, the cooking was done. Time to clean this nasty stovetop. All I use typically is warm water, soap, and a good sponge. Ta-da! Nice and clean and ready for Thanksgiving. This clean kitchen was so satisfying after a long, hard day of work. We absolutely love hosting Thanksgiving and Christmas at our house. It's such a blessing to have all of our family gathered around our table and on the porch and around the island. Now, after a long day of work, it was time to cook supper for the family. My daughter Annie had been requesting deviled eggs for a few weeks, so I filled the Instant Pot with fresh eggs. For the 10-quart Instant Pot, you add 2 cups of water, then you set it on high pressure for 5 minutes. You let the pressure release naturally for 5 minutes, and then you can do the quick release for the rest. I place the eggs in an ice water bath for just a few minutes, and then the peels slide off so easy. It's pretty amazing. It really changed the game when I found out you could cook eggs in the Instant Pot. We decided to have a light, snacky supper that night, so we had deviled eggs. I made homemade French onion dip, and I pulled some frozen mini quiches out of the fridge that we had picked up from Sam's about a week or so ago. I've never actually used a recipe for deviled eggs. All I do is cut them each in half, throw all the yolks in a bowl, and I add some mayonnaise, a little bit of mustard, sometimes Dijon mustard or spicy mustard. Occasionally I'll add some dill relish, but today I didn't have any, so I just did salt and pepper. Mix it all together, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then pipe it into the eggs. I don't know why I don't make deviled eggs more often. Everyone in my family loves them, and it's a great way to use up excess eggs in the summer. I really enjoy an occasional supper that consists of finger foods or heavy hors d'oeuvres. This was a nice and simple way to end our day. The men came home from hunting right as the quiches were coming out of the oven. Unfortunately, there was no luck that night. After supper, we all moved to the living room and started a fire. When we built our house, we knew we wanted a wood-burning fireplace. There's just something magical about the smells and the crackling wood. I love it. It was early to bed, so we'd be ready to rise and get started Thanksgiving morning. I'm terrible about taking pictures when all of the family is together. There were 16 of us, and this was the aftermath after our big meal. We had 11 side dishes plus bread and the meat. We are going to be eating leftovers for a week. We got all the food put away. The dishes were washed, the kitchen was cleaned, and we had 2 turkeys today, so I decided to go ahead and start them in both of the Instant Pots, so I would have 14 quarts of turkey stock to can tomorrow. It was such a wonderful Thanksgiving. I love having all of my children home, having extended family over. We have so much to be thankful for. I hope your day was just as blessed. Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for watching.